So these are youngsters, juveniles. They were born in the Gulf, but they drift in every spring, and they spend the first summer of their life here. Every day they swim around all day with their mouth open, and they filter out that plankton and algae. And one of the interesting things about nurseries, nursery habitat for fish, all these guys live here all summer, and then they migrate back to the Gulf. So that's what nursery habitat means. It's a place where they're protected when they're young. Here's a different variety. This is a bay anchovy. Notice it's long, skinny, but look at its flesh. Very translucent. You can actually see the fish spine. You can see its viscera. Who's ever heard of anchovies? Yeah, we eat them. So 90% of the commercial and recreational fish that we harvest, the youngsters grow up in estuaries. So that's why it's important to protect and preserve those kinds of habitats. Let me see what else to look at. Where's the shrimp? A shrimp, I think, may have gotten injured in the net, but this is the second most important commercial fish that we catch in the Gulf. So lots of fishermen make a living by catching those shrimp, but this is the third most important, the Gulf menhaden. How many of you have ever heard of that fish? No. Yeah. And you heard me just say it's the third most important fish that we catch commercially. So what do you think we do with Gulf menhaden? Maybe some, yeah. How many of you feed your dog or cat blue buffalo? No?
Nah.
Well, these fish are used to make dog food and cat food out of, and to make chicken food for chicken farms. What else do we have? There's our crab.
Oh, that's a big one.
Isn't he big? He's biting me.
Yeah.
You got that beagle in there?
There's a bigger crab over here too.
You grab him, I'll get the little one. So these guys will spend the first summer here, just like all these others, and then they move back into the bay. So if you go to the seafood restaurant next time, remember that most of that fish that's on the seafood platter starts in this kind of low salinity estuary. What else did we catch? You have our list. Tell us what you recorded.
Got the tidewater, silverside, blue crab, the shrimp,
Menhaden.
the menhaden.
There's a water scorpion in there. Somebody got a grass shrimp.
Yeah.
So look again at the blue crab and notice these back two legs that have those flat paddles. Not all crabs can swim. And the genus and species, the scientific name of the blue crab, means beautiful swimmer. So if you see these guys in the water, they paddle sideways with these two flippers. And sometimes you hear people saying in a boat, you're crabbing, and that means the boat is going sideways, just like this young crab. And let's watch now. You can see him. Well, he's actually running and not swimming. But you can see those back legs moving. Mm-hmm.
What about this one here?
That's a water scorpion, a freshwater insect. So all the fish we caught today are actually bay fish and Gulf fish. And that tells us the Bayou is connected to Galveston Bay and the Gulf of Mexico. But the salinity, the saltiness of the water that you just tested, it's pretty fresh. Down at the beach, you get the water in your mouth. It tastes salty. It's about 35 parts per thousand. Today, you measured 6.5. Why is it fresher here? Why isn't it as salty as it is at the beach?
I'm sorry.
So further inland, it rained a lot yesterday. I don't know if y'all got any of that rain. So that's fresh water coming in there to dilute the salinity.
Exactly right. We call that freshwater inflow. And Heather was talking about the watershed. So about 60 miles around us, when it rains, that water all drains in here, and it lessens the saltiness of the water. I think these guys all are ready to go home.
What's that black?
That is a water beetle. And man, he is zipping.
He has not run out of energy today.
Yep. All right, everybody grab a tub and let's send those
Just find it
guys
right there.
home.